As our journey to discover fresh entrepreneurs and young achievers continues, we decided to move out of the political and financial capitals and bring Young Turks on the road, and quite literally. Yes, Young Turks is on the road, and let's take you through what the coming few months have in store for you. We move out of Delhi first and head south to the heart of Karnataka. Next, we get on the road to hit the beaches of Goa, followed by Hyderabad and then Chennai. From there, we go west to Gujarat and finally head east to Kolkata. So Young Turks is going pan-India, and we're now arriving at our first destination. We're in the capital of Karnataka, known as the Garden City, the IT city, and a hub for many young entrepreneurs to turn their dreams into reality. So for the next 1 month, we decided to stay on here and make it the Young Turk city. That's right, we're in Bengaluru. I'm standing outside the Vidhan Sauda, that's the State Assembly. For 1 month, Young Turks on the road is going to be putting the spotlight on young achievers from Bengaluru. So stay on with us for the Young Turks ride. Driving through heavy traffic of Bangalore, something you just can't miss is the one name written on almost every new building you pass. So I decided to find out a little more about the man who's made this possible. Here's his story. It takes a small step to get into gear for a bigger dream. That's how 30-year-old Nitesh Shetty has lived his life. A star tennis player who gave it all up to follow his entrepreneurial drive. At 20, he started a billboard company aptly called Serve and Volley with just 12,000 rupees borrowed from his mother. Nitesh made the company a market leader, and today Serve and Volley is one of the largest outdoor advertising companies in India. Not satisfied with billboards, Nitesh set out to do bigger things, and quite literally so. That dream became his reality with the birth of the Nitesh Group, which is now undoubtedly among Bangalore's top real estate companies. As its young managing director, Nitesh knows for a fact that daring to dream big is not just about grit and gumption, but also about spotting the right opportunity. Well, we're in Bangalore. We're at the Ritz-Carlton site. This is a hotel that's going to come up in the next 24 months. We've got with us the man who's brought the Ritz-Carlton to India, Nitesh Shetty. Nitesh, thanks very much for joining us. So from billboards to buildings and now the Ritz-Carlton, huh? It's been quite a journey for you, hasn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, from where we started with a small billboard to come to here, God's been kind. It actually happened to bump into real estate by chance, because the landowners who I was actually putting up billboards with happened to own some prime pieces of land. And I actually approached them and said, can I develop your property?
So how did you convince them? Because you had no expertise.
So this senior lady called Mrs. Nalini Mohan actually gave me my first break. Actually, she was in shock when she thought I've come for another billboard. And when she said, you want to start a building? She was like, yes, but you're a billboard guy. So let me, consult my husband and come back. But what I did at the meantime was I said, let's take a chance. So I actually appointed a Singapore-based consultant, got a Hong Kong-based architect. And I said, let's invest and get a design for that property done. And I actually went and presented it to her, and she's quite impressed.
And that's how it started?
That's how it started.
But what's been the hardest part really as far as you're concerned of this entrepreneurial journey? Because you've started several businesses. You haven't been in the easiest sectors. You've been in highly regulated sectors from a government point of view as well. What's been the hardest part of this journey for you so far?
The first one was age. Because in the initial
Nobody took you seriously?
No. Yeah. So the initial years, as I was mentioning to you on the first property itself, even in the billboard business, and I went into a local corporation to get a license for a billboard, the first guy, he would shrug you off because you don't know how to play the system.
So cutting through the bureaucratic red tape, number one peeve, what were the others?
Capital. Yeah. So when I went to the banks, the first thing for let be a building, my first building itself needed a sizable investment. It needed I needed a bank debt of about 8.5 crores. And it took me 1 year. Every bank, I went to every bank. You have the most profitable location and project, which every banker agrees, but he says, you're 22, you're 23.
Collateral.
How are you going to guarantee? So can we have your dad, granddad, somebody, collateralize, or can we get to another bigger partner who will support you? That is the easiest way. So we are trying to tell them, why can't we go by the theory of the project? Why no, you don't have a track record in building. You don't have your outdoor business is 3 years old.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle, you know. Actually, it's God sent or what. There was a South-based bank called Dhanalakshmi Bank, which wanted a prime place on MG Road, and the chairman, Dr. Rao, was actually, who met me on the first day, said, we want to take the space, but you know, we want to buy it. So I said, so I mean, I don't want to sell it, I want to, it's a lease space. And finally, after meeting a few times with the board,
So he gave you the 8.5 crores,
and
that's
that was
how
it, yeah.
started.
With big investors like Citi backing him, there's nothing stopping this young Bangalorean. Picking up prime real estate in the heart of Bangalore is his priority. He plans to concentrate on the growing needs of the real estate market, focusing on a very high-end niche. The group works only with A-grade office spaces and 5-star hotels, and are currently also developing the Ritz-Carlton, India's first in the heart of Bangalore. A 250-room top-end hotel with an investment of over 500 crore rupees. That's not all. The group has already moved into 7 new cities and is looking at going public very soon.
Definitely an IPO is definitely on our minds, but
What's
the
holding you back?
appropriate timing and our size. I mean, it's the real estate business has been 5 years right now from the time it's been started. But we are now playing, I mean, we're quite happy with the private equity partners who have actually come in with us on board, and we are actually expanding now, as you know, into almost 6 to 7 new cities right now. We have already moved into most of the verticals of office buildings, A-grade office buildings, hotels, shopping malls, and residences. 5 years.
Let's talk about this one. This is the site for the Ritz-Carlton. Now 260 rooms going to be coming up in the next 24 months. A marquee name, really. And how did it work out for you?
I mean, this was a big bid in Bangalore. It's, as you know, this is like central business district, heart of Bangalore City, and we don't have...
Ritz-Carlton is as big as it gets.
Absolutely. So we said, when we want to put a hotel, we didn't want to do the management ourselves. We said we want to create a property where we'll use our strengths of putting up a world-class building, a world-class hotel. But the management part of it, let's get a global operator who's #1 in his area of operation. And between the Ritz-Carlton and another partner, we actually leaned more towards the Ritz-Carlton because, I know, I like the Ritz-Carlton. It's top-notch. You can't go wrong with it. And the brand itself brings, and it's the first time in India. So we said Bangalore is ready for a sophisticated hotel today.
Yeah, but now half a dozen group companies really, infrastructure, Servan Valley of course continues, real estate, construction. Are you looking at diversifying any further, or is this going to be the core going forward?
On a long-term goal, I've always believed in backward integration. So now construction and infrastructure turns out to be a natural fit for me in terms of backward integration. So that's the new company which we have formed, and we've already taken up a few assignments in Calcutta, a few assignments down south now on the construction side. I think we still have another year or year and a half to go before we actually make a mark on the infrastructure side, because we're talking about being infrastructure developers.
Serving one ace after another in the property bazaar, Nitish believes he's remained the same person. The disadvantage, however, of being so young is getting people to take him seriously. But his determination knows no bounds. Nitish hopes that his smash hit will be making the Nitish Group a world-class institution, and believes that his key strength would be getting into virgin markets where he can beat the smaller players hollow.
Where from here? Because you've talked about business plans and you've talked about where you actually see the company headed, but do you have a specific goal or do you have a specific target that you want to sort of actualize in the next 5 years? You know, what's the growth plan looking like?
Currently,
personally as well as professionally.
On the company side, yes, I mean, in the next 5 years, we have some internal vision documents which have been created. But a couple of them, which we are very, very focused on now, is create an institution. We want to create a world-class company. We want to ensure we do the right things in terms of deliveries, execution capabilities, bringing in an organization which tomorrow can cater to the customer's needs. Once that is there, fundamentals are laid down well for the long term. I think then you can, irrespective of how things turn out to be, I mean, in the good times and bad, you'll be someone ahead of competition. And I think to combat competition today, we have to first build an institution which will be a long-term player.
So it's looking good for you.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Thank you very much, Nitish, for joining us, and we wish you the very best of luck with everything that you're doing.
Thank
you very much for being on Young Turks on the Road. Pleasure having you on the show. Thanks very much. See you around. Bye. Take care.
Let's head into a break and drive on further to meet another Young Turk. Stay tuned to Young Turks on the Road.